breaking news. This one is brought to you by Cashbox. Check it out. They're talking about trying to send and open a pathway to send Big U, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, Little Dirt, Yellow Beezy, and anyone else that want to break the law and consider themselves a gang member. Now, I'm going to play this before I even go into my intro because I think y'all really need to know what's going on. But I'm going to get an intro for a minute. So you know what it is. So now we're over here on YouTube and we're going to do this like we need to do it. Check. We're going to play Donald Trump answering the question of what does he think about sending American citizens to Cecot Prison. Now watch this and I'm going to show you what Cecot Prison is. And this is the pathway that they're trying to open up for people that want to break the law. So if you young people want to keep doing it, they're making a pathway to do just this to you. Please share this video and remember it's sponsored by Cashbox. Coming real soon near you. All right.
El Salvador, the president there said he would be willing to take American citizens in the federal prison population. Is that one of the ideas they're going to be discussing?
Well, I love that. If we could take some of our 20-time wise guys that push people into subways and that hit people over the back of the head and that purposely run people over in cars. If he would take them, I'd be honored to give them. I don't know what the law says on that, but I can't imagine the law would say anything different. If they can house these horrible criminals for a lot less money than it costs us, I'm all for it. But I'd only do according to the law. But I have.
You see what he's saying? If you could house them for a lot less. So right now, you youngins looking at this, you elders that know the youngins looking at this, let them know that they're no different than stock. That's it. Trying to find the cheapest place to place them, to put our money behind it so it could rise. So they're trying to find the cheapest place to put them. Let's get this right. So that America could rise by removing them from our society, being that they don't want to communicate and function as a decent society member. So this is how they're opening the path up. So don't say you didn't know. Don't say you wasn't told. I'm going to let him finish telling you what's going on. Then we're going to get into Big U, Loose Cannon, Little Dirk, all of them that got these charges. That this is where they're trying to send them. This is what we need to be talking about.
I have suggested that, why should it stop just at people that cross the border illegally? We have some horrible criminals, American grown and born, and if we have somebody that bops an old woman over the head,
You heard that? American grown and born criminals that need to be sent out of the country and to Cecot. Then I'm going to show you what that is in a minute.
Have somebody that is in jail 20 times and goes back and shoots people all over the place and then has a bad judge or a bad prosecutor that do nothing about him. All they worry about is politics. They don't worry about that. I think if we could get El Salvador or somebody to take them, I'd be very happy with it. But I have to see what the law says. Okay.
All right, so that's all I'm saying, right? So now I'm going to get into this right here. Now I'm going to play this joint here, and, I want to thank everybody for your Cash App donation. I appreciate it. That's what built this studio that you get ready to see this fly joint on. But we got Cashbox coming real soon. Be on the lookout. All right, let's get this thing started.
A body in the desert, a diss track that cost a life, and a street legend caught bragging on tape.
I was bagging my victims. Closets. Yeah, I was bagging in dark places.
That's not fiction. That's Big U.
You see, now, this right here is what this is about. You just heard what our president said. So if you youngins don't want to share this video, I don't know what to tell you. You heard what our president said that they're planning on doing, and he's looking to make sure it's legal within the law with people that do just what they're accusing Big U of, Little Dirk of, Yellow Beezy of. Those are the main ones in there. And Melly. Just pay attention to this now. And you tell me if you think this qualified for what I just played for you. That's why I did it in the order that I did it.
You on audio talking about putting people in bags. Federal agents say Eugene Big U Henley Jr. ran South LA like a cartel with a nonprofit in the front and a kill list in the back. They say he murdered a rapper signed to his label.
How did they know? How did they know? How the you did know?
Let's break down how Big U killed people and why the feds say they've got the receipts to prove it. How Big U killed people. Eugene Big U Henley Jr. was already a big name in South Los Angeles, not just because of his ties to the streets, but because he walked around like a king. Big U had it all: money, clout, a music label, a so-called non-profit, and enough influence to scare just about anyone into silence. But now, federal prosecutors are saying he crossed a line that...
Yo, stop. I gotta stop this. Because like I said, I run a real gangster channel over here, and I'm not gonna do nothing but deal with gangsters that want to know what a gangster is to hopefully prevent them from wanting to go down that path or get off that path if they on it. In other words, get off the gangster train and go get a job. You know, that's what we promoting over here. Get off the gangster train. But I gotta correct that. He just sat there saying that, you know, that he murdered. I mean, he convicted him. No, he's allegedly charged, and I want to say that over here on Unique Mecca Audio. Make sure everybody hear that. He's allegedly charged with these crimes. He's not guilty as of yet. So until then, he's presumed innocent. Now let me go further and play this tape. All right.
that ended with a dead body in the desert.
I was bagging my victims. Closets. Yeah, I was bagging in dark places.
According to the feds, he killed a man named Rayshawn Williams. But this wasn't some random act of violence. Williams wasn't just anybody. He was an artist signed to Big U's label for Unique Music. And before making moves in music, he was a standout wide receiver at Crenshaw High. Not only that, he was teammates with Big U's son, Dion Henley. That's the same Dion who now plays linebacker for the LA Chargers. Yeah, that close. But what triggered all of this? According to court papers, it started with a song. Williams apparently dropped a diss track that called out Big U. And the feds say Big U didn't just take that as an insult. He took it as a threat. They say it wasn't just about words. It was about respect, about control.
Hold up. Let me just say this, because we got to ride. We got to take a ride right now, Rob. Now, for this young man to sit here and make a diss track about Big U while he's living in Big U's house, living there with his son, but under Big U's roof, so Big U is the man of the house, the same way we saw in Baby Boy, how Ving Rhames threw his big bicep around Tyrese's neck and choked him out until he understood that he's the big dog in the house. Could you picture this young man disrespecting Big U like that? Like, what would trigger that? I'm not saying it didn't happen, because it happened, obviously, because they're saying it, right? You know, but what I'm saying is Big U is a figure that's well respected. So for this dude to do that, he had what we call back in my days, familiarity breeds disrespect. So by Big U allowing him to stay in his house, that's where he got familiar with Big U, and that's what bred the disrespect for him to even have the thought to make a diss record to someone of Big U's caliber. I'm not talking about because he's living with him. I'm talking about because of who he is. So he had to feel like something wasn't real there, or nothing couldn't happen, because Big U probably let him get away with a few things. So what I just said we doing, we riding, right? We riding with Cashbox today, right? We gonna ride out with Cashbox. Check it out, right? So now, you know how you let a dog piss in the house and you laying down and you too lazy to get him, so you just throw a shoe at him and tell him no. And next thing you know, he's pissing in another corner and you're throwing shoes at him and he just won't stop pissing in the house. That's because if you let a dog piss in the house one time, he's going to forever piss in that house. And that's where my assumption of that, it's just mine, you know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with cash boxes. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. This is my assumption, is that Big U allowed the kid to do some other forms of disrespect that he sucked it up because it was his friend's man and probably the mother wanted the kid to stay there to help him out or whatever. But Big U let something slide in his kingdom that he shouldn't have let slide because he's still dealing with young men from the street that can get gangster. And to them, gangster's just disrespectful. That's why I can't stand the rap. It irks me. Because they won't just tell you in your face or be in a position where I could physically respond as well. Why should I only have to verbally respond? Why are you taking away my right to choke you out? But yet you want to pull me into a verbal fight. I don't do the verbal fights. And neither does Big U is the point that I'm making. And that's where I see it from where I'm standing as Big U walked away from the situation because he's not going to sit there arguing with a 17-year-old kid. And he know that, his woman is going to take his side and the son is going to take his side. And he's under his roof and he got other roofs to go to if he choose and other businesses to handle and places to visit. So he got a bunch of other things he could do other than sit there arguing with a 17-year-old kid. So he walked away from it, and that made the kid feel familiar with him that, oh, I could do this, and he'll walk away. So I can make a diss song, and he ain't going to do nothing, and I'll be the only one doing it, so I look like the big dog on the block. Not knowing that somebody could put alleged bounty on your head and send the money cash box. And cash box even got a joint, right? And I'm not promoting it, but I'm just giving you a scenario because we just riding, right? Remember, we ride. Cash box even got a joint that you could send money anonymously, so the person you sending it to, right, is the only one that know you're sending it, and no one else would know. That means if you messing with your girlfriend's sister, and your girlfriend's sister texts you that she needs some money to get her hair done, and you send that, now she gets that. But now she's around her sister look in the phone, and she see her name connected to, her man. She's like, hold up, why he send you money? But that's where Ghostbox come in. When she looks, she won't even see nothing. But let's get back to this, because I think y'all need to know what's going on, Big U. But I like to ride, so forgive me for riding. All right? Let's out. Get this party back on. Now let's get the intro on. Keep it going, 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 keep it. All right, so we back. Let's ride.
Control, about reminding everyone who the boss still was. So prosecutors say Big U lured him out, drove him into the desert, shot him, and left his body dumped off Interstate 15 like trash. It was cold, calculated, and according to the feds, personal and business all in one hit. The news shook Crenshaw. The day after Williams died, the high school football team posted about it on Instagram. It is with heavy heart that we announce the passing of Rayshawn Williams, one of our very own wide receivers of the Crenshaw family. He was a very special guy to all of us. That's what they said. And for those who knew the backstory, that caption hit harder than most. NBC tried to get a comment from Diane Henley, but got nothing. No response. Silence. And really, what could he say? The man being named in the killing is his father, the victim, his former teammate. That's not just messy. That's a nightmare. Right after the murder story hit, Big U didn't hide. He didn't go silent. He did the one thing you wouldn't expect from a man facing RICO charges. He pulled out his phone and went live on Instagram.
So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. And he's actually got video and footage of it. So y'all know what y'all dealing with.
That was his
Whoa.
send-off. No tears, no apologies. Just a man claiming the feds kicked down his doors while someone he knew, a man called 600, stood with the cops filming it all. Then came the names. Big U said 600 wasn't alone. He said Whack 100 and Loose Cannon were in on it too. Said they helped push things online to build the case. According to him, the feds didn't start this. The internet did.
And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Whack. Whack, Loose Cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all filed. All y'all who be sending shit around the internet.
He wasn't done. Big
right, let me say this, right? I let that play enough. Let me say this, right? Sometimes we got to take responsibility for our actions. Sometimes we have to take responsibility for our actions. Just like I poisoned my community, I made a promise to the Most High Power that I'll try and save some of the babies that I destroyed. And I repented for that, and I gave 26 years of my life for that. And I claimed that. Let me get that. Let's get that straight. I claim that. And I don't need Cashbox to tell me to claim it. I claim it. Now, so you understand, Big U, you also went on platforms and social media and you told people to check in. Check in. That means you're going to protect them. That means that the police can't protect them. That means you're going to protect them. So what are you, a police inside the police? I'm not calling them a police because I know the right bastards, they hear something like that, they're going to take it the wrong way. What I'm saying is, what are you, an organization within society? And you're the police of that organization? Or the gatekeeper of that organization? America wasn't built to have that. There's laws to prevent that. And those are what they're using against Big U right now. And then Donald Trump said he had somewhere to send them where they get no visits, no phone calls, no mail, and they just sit in a big cell that hold 80 men. 99% of them is not going to speak English. They're going to speak their language because it's all the way in another country. I think it's El Salvador, but the rat bastard was correct. We're going to talk about Cecot. They're probably going to build more of them. It's a business organization. Let me get back to this because I want to get to that and I want to show you what Cecot is before this get too late. And I know,
Big U went after the likes, the shares, the reposts. He said everyone watching from their phone helped the case move forward.
All y'all who be promoting and listening to what these saying, all
but we listened to what you said up here too, Big U. You was up here as well, so don't pull yourself out and don't try and blame, Whack 600, Loose Cannon, and anyone else because you have to wear your responsibility, big bro. You slipped. If they went up there and said something and you laid solid to that, if you laid solid to that, you wouldn't have them coming back because there'd be nothing to come back to. But you threw fuel up there when you went on another podcast and you started talking about how people got to check in, and you started your own podcast called Checking In, when to tell someone to check in with you when you're coming from another state into the great state of California, that forget the governor, forget the mayor, forget the police, forget everybody. I run this joint. That's some Al Capone, Bugsy Siegel, and everything else. Come on, dog. And you don't want to take your responsibility for where you're sitting at right now? Right now, I'm baffled that you don't want to take your responsibility, because now is the time you yourself know you got to humble yourself, because sometimes when we ride, sometimes when we moving too fast, God come in and grab us and slow us down a little bit might let our funds fall off. And we still keep running. And God loves us so much, he come behind us and grab us again, and now he pull us. And then he let us catch a case, and now we looking at 5 years. Something like that you feel you could do. And then you get out of that, and you get to running again. And God grab you and sit you down with life plus 20 and 26 years. That's my history I just told you. I wasted it. God grabbed me a number of times in a number of cases, and I took it for granted, the same as a lot of y'all are doing. When you catch them cases, that's God grabbing you. Oh, come here. You know what I mean? And sometimes he got to grab us a little harder. And that's when we're looking at 10 years. When he grabbed his heart, now we looking at life. And he's giving us all the messages and codes that we need. But right now, what we have to do is we got to adhere to these messages. Don't take the good people you meet in your life for granted. Don't try and not allow someone in your life because they didn't DM you and they said hello to you on the street. Remember that. Don't take it when someone beat the horn and you're a beautiful young lady looking nice walking down the street. That's a disrespect. Because for that split second, being that person's life is moving so fast, God threw you in his path because you and him was beneficial to do something together. And it don't have to be actual. But he threw you in that path and he beat the horn. And you stuck your nose in the air and kept going, or kept your nose down in your phone and kept going. And you missed God's blessing. Y'all need to, that's the world I come from. But if I see a young lady walking on the street, I beat the horn and the young lady look over, she smile and keep walking, and, and that let me know that she good. Now, ran two little cars and pull over and I jump out and I go back and I, how you doing? My name's Unique. Where you from? Where you going? All right, come on, you want to ride? And it was that simple. And even though America was violent then, no, it wasn't looked at as, oh, don't get in the car, that he's a stranger. I'm just telling you how it was during my time. We didn't look at it that way. Because remember, I'm from the time right after the hitchhiking. Remember, in America, they were putting their thumbs out. They were putting their thumbs out on the highway and picking up complete strangers in dark roads on Highway 66 where everything go down. That's the time. Then it got worse and worse and worse. But in our time, you wasn't going to get nobody. It was a rarity to get somebody that'd get a girl in the car and kidnap her and rape her and do all that crazy stuff like that. You know what I mean? Unless you talk about, you know what I mean? Because then dudes treat them how they feel they can treat them, thinking no one cares about them. Just so you understand where I'm at. But let me get back to this. I understand if I'm getting a little too deep for y'all or what. But this sponsored by Cashbox again. Remember that. Cashbox coming real soon.
Y'all giving these likes and hidden likes. All y'all supporting this. All y'all guilty of this shit.
We supported you, Big U. We watched you too.
If you had something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets.
His message was loud and it was clear. He believed the whole case was built on clicks, likes, reposts, and that it wasn't just about him. It was about what he stood for. Then he looked at the indictment, and according to him, it made no sense.
And I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? That's a built-in liar right there. You know what I mean?
Nah. Let me explain that, right? Let's ride. Let me explain that. Yo, they could bring in people that you don't know when they have you as a RICO under the conspiracy law of the RICO. So they saying that somebody that worked for you, that was in your control, Big U, hired someone else to do something to further your agenda because you're at the top. So now, whatever they do down below, it affects you up top. But you have to have knowledge of it is what you're going to have to show when you go to court, that you did not have knowledge of that. And try and separate yourself, but they'll still hold you to the aiding and abetting clause, saying that your co-conspirator that hired the dude to help to further your agenda aided and abetted your cause to get the bag. Follow me on this? I think I'm going to make a short out of that. That was fire. All right. Just want to throw that in there because I'm feeling good right now.
So, is that how they gonna work the case?
He said they were stacking names together just to make it look bigger. Said the feds wanted people to flip on him, turn witness. But Big U made it very clear that wouldn't happen.
If you want to arrest certain dudes, them is and put them next to me, them is the dudes you gonna have to call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turning against me. I ain't going for that. You might as well go get 600 and whack.
He wasn't scared. He wasn't folding. He doubled down. Then he hit them with a message that showed how he saw the whole situation.
I ain't been.
Hey, yo, he hard on 600 and whack and still not taking responsibility that he's the one that talked himself into that cage. We got to take responsibility, man. Let's ride. When I'm out there hustling, right? Let me get an idea, right? I got 20, 30 cars. I got a bunch of garages I'm keeping them in. And I'm driving big Mercedes-Benz. I got big jewels on. I'm wearing Dapper Dan. And, you know, I got gold teeth with diamonds in my mouth, open front. You know, I'm doing me. You know what I mean? I even had the little S-curl. Remember the little S-curl, Jerry curl, you know. We talking about back in the early 80s. But now this is how I'm moving. And then I'm driving a M3 with chrome BBSs. And this is the first M3, one of the first M3 on that side. But it was the first of its color on that side. So I had to grab me a color that I know nobody else got. So now I'm riding down the street with that, and I get out, go to the corner, go to a payphone and answer a beep, and I'm standing on there with over $100,000 worth of jewelry and clothes on, and got a $70,000 BMW parked at the corner, and I'm in the hood where people is on food stamps, and I'm gonna sit here and say that somebody told on me. No, I told on me when I went in the hood dressed like that, announcing how much money I was making above the regular people that was there. And that was my mistake that I got to own up to. Just like Big U got to own up to. You went on these podcasts too. You went on these podcasts too. So, you know, take responsibility, big bro. All right?
And nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is.
And he did that. I looked at a few things he did a little research, and he do get a round of applause for that. He do get a round of applause for that. Big U get that. That's so much. Big U, you got that. All right?
It's the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community, and do what you can.
And just like that, Big U turned himself in. But he didn't go out quietly. He pointed fingers, dropped names, and told the world he was walking into that courtroom on his own terms. Then came the real storm. The indictment was worse than people thought. The charges weren't just about a single murder. The feds hit him with everything. Murder, human trafficking, extortion, wire fraud, a full-blown RICO case. He hasn't talked about the deep details yet, but he's standing on one thing. He says he's innocent. Big U told people straight up, I did nothing wrong. But the paperwork says something different. The feds say he's been running a criminal organization for years, one that used fear, fame, and money to stay in power. They say it was built on his street legend and pushed through Los Angeles like a shadow government. They're calling it a full enterprise. The charges fall under the RICO Act. That means the feds aren't just focused on one thing. They're looking at every move since 2010. They named the operation Drawdown. 10 other people were taken in. Some were already behind bars. Others turned themselves in right after the charges went public. One of them was Brian Mejia. He walked in quietly. No Instagram video. Then came two more names, Sylvester Robinson, also known as Vay, and Mark Martin, called Bearclaw. Both got picked up on March 19, 2025. Both charged in the same complaint, same case, same crew. According to the feds, the group was a machine. They called it the Big U Enterprise. And in their own words, it worked like a mafia. The Big U Enterprise is a distinct and independent criminal enterprise engaged in criminal activity, including murder, extortion, robbery, trafficking, and exploiting sex workers, fraud, and illegal gambling, the complaint said. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse for Big U, the feds brought out the one thing that always hits harder than paperwork. Audio. Not rumors, not secondhand stories. Real audio. They say it's Big U on the tape, talking about running up on Whack 100. And not alone. They say he was rolling deep with the rolling 60s, all dressed in black, chasing Whack through the street. The way the court records lay it out, this wasn't just tough talk. It was a moment, a real scene. According to prosecutors, it's Big U's voice, and he's not alone. They say he was rolling with a crew from the rolling 60s, all black hoodies, tied tight, moving through the street looking for Whack 100. This wasn't just talk. The feds say it turned into a full-on confrontation, and in the middle of it, you hear Whack begging, my wife draws, I see you, Eugene. I see you, Eugene Henley, I see you. He's screaming all that. He's got his blower out, but he's up. Yeah, that's how messy it's gotten. Whack 100's name all over the story. So, of course, Whack fired back. He hopped on Clubhouse the moment Big U turned himself in.
They got nothing to do with Whack.
He denied everything, said he never leaked paperwork, never fed info to the feds. As far as Whack was concerned, this whole thing was a circus Big U built himself.
It seemed to me like I've been threatening the paperwork. I can't say nothing.
He even laughed at Big U for being surprised about the raid.
What you mean? How did they know? How did they know? How did they know they was gonna raid my house? How did they know? Oh, use the goofy. What did they...
And yo, that's crazy, right? That's why I say, you know, yo, like I said, I don't pick sides. I gotta give Wack a round of applause. That's my point. I gotta give Wack a round of applause on that. Whoa. Like I said, I ain't no hater, you know what I mean? I'm not into none of that, right? But he get his round of applause because that's the point that I was making when I'm standing on the corner with over $100,000 in jewel and a $70,000 car. I've got damn near $250,000, you know what I mean, at my fingertips in a hood where people is paying rent of $50 a month. And I'm wearing $250,000 and I'm on the corner. And whatever happens after that, I'm going to say somebody told on me. So Wack is saying, what do you mean? How you didn't know they're going to come up in your crib, my dude? Let's keep it 100. That's why I say I respect Wack, man, because right there, that's the highest of the gangster you could get. Take responsibility, dog. You got on the YouTube, too. You need to take responsibility. You wore $250,000 running around 8th Avenue. How you going to say somebody told on you? No, you told on you first when you got out the car and corroborated whatever they might have told on you before you said a word. Take your responsibility, dog. And that's what this video is about. And I'm going to show you where they're trying to send you. If you want to get into this world and talk about you disputing with me, I'm going to show you where Cecot is after this, but I'm going to let this play out, let the rest of this little joint. But what Wack said was 100. How you didn't know they're going to come get you? You on YouTube, dog. Come on.
They know. How did they know? How the you did?
Wack made it sound like Big U had been sleepwalking into this, like everyone else saw it coming except the man at the center. But while Wack was going off on Clubhouse, Big U was already behind bars. A judge denied him bail. No house arrest, no ankle monitor, nothing. The court said he was too much of a risk. They locked him down in federal custody until the hearing on March 31st. The arraignment is set for April 8th. No plea yet, just the charges read one by one. And while the court was heating up, the internet jumped into the mess like it always does. A sports account called ML Football saw a window and took a swing. They posted, trending, Eugene Big U Henley, a former Crips leader who transitioned into a gang interventionist role, is facing allegations of murder, kidnapping, robbery, extortion, and fraud, according to authorities. He is the father of Dion Henley. No crimes linked to Dion, no evidence, no reason to bring him up, but his name still got dropped right next to a federal indictment, just for clicks. Fans were quick to shut it down. One comment hit with calm support. Dion Henley seems like a great dude, also a great player teammate. Hope he is getting through this all right. Another person said what everyone else was thinking. What does Dion have to do with any of that? He's a great dude. Another person chimed in. Big U was getting millions of dollars from the city of LA for youth gang intervention. Got a son in the NFL. That nigga ain't care. And one fan really put some heart into it. Dude is tough as nails. A guided missile on the field. So sorry for the drama. That sucks for him big time. However, I would take 10 of him on our team if we could clone him. That was the tone across the board. Respect for Dion. No one's denying Big U might be facing life, but dragging his son into it, that's just clout chasing noise. Yet the murder was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, a complex web of criminal operations was about to be exposed, showing how Big U's influence stretched far beyond a single violent act. Criminal past and hidden operations. Before the posts, before the podcast, before the streets started whispering about federal raids and RICO charges, Eugene Big U Henley was already on law enforcement's radar, and not because of music or charity. Back in 1991, the story started with a setup, a cocaine sting. But Big U didn't just show up to buy or sell. He showed up to rob the undercover sheriff's deputy running the sting. That single move earned him 13 years in state prison, but it didn't bury him. It built him. Word spread fast inside and outside. Authorities believed he wasn't just part of the Rolling 60s. They said he helped run it. So when he got out in the early 2000s, Big U didn't just walk back into LA. He walked back into power. But freedom didn't mean peace. The LAPD and the FBI stayed close. They kept watching. Over the years, they tied him to more than 20 major investigations. Some were about guns. Others were about drugs. Some were about private meetings where gang violence was being planned out. Federal agents said Big U had become the fixer. If something went wrong, they called him to set it straight. He knew how to calm things down or make them worse. That was the quiet side, the street side. But out in the open, he showed something else. He showed up at schools, he spoke at events, he gave interviews about gang prevention. He started a nonprofit called Developing Options based in Hyde Park. It looked like it was built to help kids stay off the streets, but the feds say that was just the front. They say Developing Options was used to launder money. Donations came in from NBA players, big companies, and even city-run programs. On paper, those dollars were for youth programs. In reality, prosecutors say that money went straight into Big U's pocket. No receipts, no breakdowns, just wired to his personal account like it was regular income. That nonprofit didn't just run on local money, it was backed by the city of Los Angeles. It got funding through the mayor's Gang Reduction Youth Development Foundation, which also uses federal money. That turned it from a local scandal into a federal crime. IRS Special Agent Tyler Hatcher didn't hold back. The RICO charges against Mr. Henley and his associates reflect a pattern of crimes that runs the gambit from extortion to tax evasion, all under the umbrella of a well-organized criminal organization led by Mr. Henley. He kept on to explain more about his crimes. Additionally, Mr. Henley allegedly duped the county of Los Angeles by running a charitable organization that promoted anti-gang solutions while continuing criminal activity that was directly contrary to his charity. And the IRS wasn't the only one watching. LAPD Chief Jim McDonald said the department had been in this from the start. From day one, the Los Angeles Police Department has been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the FBI in this critical investigation. Then the money trail got worse. The complaint says Big U filed fake pandemic relief claims for Unique Music. The paperwork claimed he made $200,000 in profit in 2019. But in reality, the business lost $5,000 that year. He shouldn't have qualified for a loan, but the money still came in. Add that to the old charge from the 90s, 13 years in prison for robbing an undercover cop during a drug sting. That story never left him. And now it's being pulled back in to show a pattern. The feds say this isn't about one bad call. They say it's about years of violence, fraud, and control.
You see how deep this is, man? That's why I let this ride, right? And this joint been on 35 minutes, but you still got to see the end of this. So right now, I'm going to show you what they really trying to do as far as where they planned on sending you. This is Cecot Prison. You know what I mean? You know what? Nah, I'm going to make that a whole nother video, man. All right?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horning uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now you trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours, so we can give back to the.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.